All right, hello everyone. Welcome. It's Thursday nights with Mel and myself. Always a good time. How are you doing, Mel?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little tired today, but I'm good. I'm hanging in there. I'm pushing through.
I was a little tired too. It's weird, but maybe it was almost 60 degrees here in Chicago
In
today,
here.
which is unheard of in February in Chicago. Usually it's like around temperatures usually, I don't know, 17, 18, high maybe 28, but never
Yeah.
like this.
I gotta. It was. It was. I think just under 60 here. Um, so I was outside with the dogs a little bit, watching all the birds. All the birds were happy outside, coming to the feeder.
Yeah, it was a nice day. I worked, but I got home and I made dinner, and then here we are.
Yeah.
I see Becky Gilberto on the highs. How Beck? Blah, blah, blah. I see Becky Gilberto on the highs. Hi, Becky. How are you?
Hey, Becky. So, do you have anything going on that you want to share, Mel?
Um, let's see. What do I have?
Do you still have Africa
Oh
tickets
yes,
open?
yes, yes. I've got I've got one opening left for Africa.
Okay.
And you predicted I'd fill it, and good. And I want to get maybe a few people on a waiting list in case some people have to cancel. Then I've got a backup.
Yeah.
I do have openings on the Rhine River on Horizon Deck, and I just got a cancellation a few days ago. So I've got one opening on I think on Vista Deck. So if you're interested in the Rhine, call my office, 847-590-5411. In Africa, I got room for one person, but I want to get like a waiting list of a couple.
Yeah.
So same number, 847-590-5411. Next year, I'm working on some really exciting trips. I'm choosing from about four. I'm definitely going to do one on the Mekong River. You fly to Vietnam, then it goes to Cambodia.
Oh,
You
nice.
get on a boat in Cambodia. It's going to be amazing. That's 17 days.
Do they have temples and all that along the
Yes,
river?
Angkor
Yeah,
Wat, absolutely. It's incredible. I've
I
talked
bet.
to people that have done it,
Powerful.
and I might do a trip to South Africa, or um, let me see. I'm thinking about Galapagos and maybe Peru. So,
Oh, nice.
yep, Peru. I'll be visit your past lives at Machu Picchu.
There you go.
Yeah, but we got
Powerful.
one more opening for Africa, so
Yeah.
that's
I'm so glad that and like I told you, I felt like you were gonna get it all filled up. So
you.
that's
You were right. So thanks everybody, and thank you for letting me plug it on here. I
cool.
appreciate that.
So me and Mel will be reading on politics, current events. I did see a couple personal questions. We don't typically do personal on these shows. At least if we do, then we'll announce it ahead of time. But um, is there anything going on that you want to talk about, Mel? I haven't watched the news much today. I was busy, and I don't know. It all feels like a
Um,
blur. I know we have like the Supreme Court stuff, but we kind of already said for the 14th Amendment that we didn't feel that he was going to be taken off the ballot, and that's what it kind of sounded like from what I heard.
um, yeah, I think, well, actually, we knew that the Supreme Court would kind of dance around it. And
Hmm.
I could tell by the questions they were asking
Yeah,
that they were going to let his name be on the ballot. And in a way, and everybody, please don't flood me with emails and negative comments. In a way, I do agree with their decision. I'll tell you why. Because I don't think they want to set a precedent where, some of these states can say, well, we don't want Mary Jane or John Doe on the ballot because, he or she did this or that they can term as insurrection. So I
hmm,
think what the court is getting at is how do you define insurrection?
yeah,
And I don't think that they just wanted people to willy-nilly use that to take people's names off the ballot.
yeah.
So, you know, now
Well,
once Trump is convicted, that might be a different story. That's a different
right.
story.
Well, the thing is, though, too, we know how crazy these Republican governors are in southern states. If Trump was taken off the ballot, they're going to attempt to do the same thing with Biden. It just feels like it kind of spirals into a mess too. So, but I do feel good about. I don't think they'll take the immunity, the presidential immunity. They won't even hear it.
That's what I'm picking up. I mean, the court is going to, if they do hear it, which I doubt,
Hmm.
but if they do, they're going to say no. I don't think they'll hear it, but they're just going to uphold the decision of the lower court
Yeah.
because they're going to say nobody's immune from prosecution. So,
And I think he has to decide how if he's appealing it by next Monday or it goes back to Chutkin. But I almost feel like that it will be pretty quick that the Supreme Court will decide not to take it. Um, maybe her case is delayed a little bit, but I still see it happening well before the election. So
um, yeah, I mean, um, I, I just don't think they want to look at that immunity issue, and I don't blame them.
yeah. Marjorie says Biden didn't cause an insurrection. We never said that he did. We're just saying we know how irresponsible and how petty some of these Republicans are, and they'll try anything.
Yeah, that's my whole point. No, we didn't say that he caused an insurrection. Biden. We're just like Kevin said, we're just simply saying that you got to be very careful because the Republicans could say Biden did something. And my exact words at the dinner table, I told my husband, I said, you watch. Governor Abbott's going to say, oh, we got to take Biden's name off the ballot in Texas because with
Hmm.
the border's an insurrection because they didn't do anything.
Right.
And Abbott had already hinted about that. So there you have it.
Yeah. Missy, I'm hopefully I said that right. I think we all understand this is going to be a roller coaster ride until the election is over, and we're seeing why. Absolutely. That's why it's so hard to follow the energy with the Republican Party too, because it's just so chaotic. It's so unstable right now. Like it's going to implode, but like who throws the first stone, to get it over there? It's just very hard to follow that energy right now.
I think it's going to be a powder keg, and I do see
Mm,
some episodes of violence. I hope I'm
yeah,
wrong. People are worried about civil war. Trump would probably like that, and governors like Abbott would probably like to secede. But I don't see a civil war, but I see some powder kegs exploding.
yeah,
Um, but it's going to be a wild ride. Missy, you're right, or Miss Yee, however you pronounce the name.
hmm,
Um, so, but we have to let our voices be heard. Did you ever notice, Kevin, like when the Democrats or Independents controlled the House and in the Senate, things we didn't have the high drama. Things got done.
right. You
Now,
had some drama with Cinema and Mansion, but
well, that's different. Yeah, right.
it's a little different, right?
But the second that the Republicans got control of the House, did you
Mhm.
notice all the chaos that ensues?
Yeah, they haven't done it. They haven't done it. They haven't done a damn thing since they've been in there.
Right.
Um, and the American people are going to see that too. Why vote for a party or put in a Congress member from the Republican Party when they're in such disarray they can't even pick a leader? And
Exactly.
I do feel like we're going to have some leadership changes in the Senate before the election too. I don't feel good for McConnell.
Um, I see leadership. I don't think that the Speaker of the House, I forgot, I'm having it. What's his name?
Johnson, he'll be out soon. I think like in April.
Well, I think he didn't want to bring that border bill to the House floor because he knew if he did that he thought some of the MAGAs would just uh, vote to get him out. But
Hmm.
he's still not out of the woods. And the thing that surprised me, I mean, we knew and we know that Trump is controlling Johnson. We know that.
Yeah.
Controlling, not consoling. Just like he controlled McCarthy. But the thing that surprised me were there was senators in the Senate that worked on this bill, they were for it, and then all of a sudden they did a complete 180. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, Trump must be trying to control them too, or controlling them as well. But
Yeah.
he's
What's really interesting about that too is Kristen Sinema was one of the writers for the bill, that bipartisan bill. And I had a show with Susan Lynn on Tuesday, and it really resonated with me. She was kind of calling out the Republicans and standing up and really upset about it. But also, I feel like that's because that was like her one chance to possibly get reelected, She said that she did something, created some border deal. So a lot of that anger really directed at Republicans is because they just screwed up her chance of getting reelected in Arizona.
You know what is funny? When Biden gave them these senators gave them something, the things they wanted.
Hmm.
Oh no. I mean, if the Democrats and independents would sit down and say yes to everything the Republicans want on a border deal, I'll bet you any amount of money they'd say no, it's dead.
Hmm.
Because it's election year, and no matter what kind of border deal they try to come up with, it's always going to be no, 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 no. And I don't see any legislation passed on that until after the election.
Okay. Because I felt like there was a little bit of a renegotiation and something getting through. Maybe it's not.
It might be small, but they don't want
It
to do
might be
anything
small.
that's going to give Biden any credit. And um, my niece's husband, well, he'd be my nephew-in-law, said something, and I agree with that. Trump is going to run his campaign on this whole supposed crisis at the border, and but I see the Democrats becoming much more vocal
Yeah.
and taking credit for their accomplishments and much more on the offense. And my guides are telling me that after this next election cycle, there will be an end to this obstructionist politics that's going on, that Mitch McConnell started it in the Senate, but it's not gonna happen in the House anymore either. So
Even if if there's a small measure that they get through for the border, maybe it's more funding for the border agents. I do feel Biden getting a little bit tougher on the border. I don't know if that's an executive action or something, but I do feel like Democrats and him getting a little bit stronger on the border before
so
the
do
election.
I.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. Let's get to some of these questions. Cosmic Star, I like that name. Hello to my two favorite people. Love you guys. Oh, thank you. Will the FBI go back to Mar-a-Lago and dig in that room they missed in the first search?
well, they'd have to get a search warrant to do that, and probably what was ever there is gone now. So
Mm.
um,
I don't know if it's Mar-a-Lago, but I do feel the FBI searching another one of Trump's properties. I'd always felt more so towards like New Jersey, Bedminster, but it's possible. I do feel like them still doing a bit of digging.
I think so too, because I
Mhm.
think somebody's going to come forward and blow a whistle and say they might not be here, but we saw some there. So I get what you said. I heard a yes on that. My psychic
Yeah.
light bulb went on. So here, I just want to show this super sticker. Julie,
Thank you so much, Julie. Says, love you, Mel and Kevin. You are Aloha Shirt Psychic and Sweatshirt Hoodie Psychic. Love and light to all.
and by the
When
way,
did
Kevin, don't give up that hoodie.
I'm not going
Always
to.
wear your hoodies. I love them.
I love them too. I love being in hoodies and sweatpants, and nobody can even tell. Being comfortable. But here's an idea. I was thinking with maybe some of my tax money, um, refund money, getting starting to do some merchandise. Maybe I'll sell some hoodies.
Oh, there you go. Oh, you just
Yeah,
gave me an idea. I should do it for Aloha shirts.
you should.
I'll tell you, I'll get a hoodie that says Kevin on there, and I'll send you a Aloha shirt that says
There
Mel.
we go. We'll trade off.
There you go. That's a great idea.
All right. Let's see. Cindy Shay, what do you see for Prince Harry's future? It's a
Um,
little vague. I do feel like Harry and Meghan are going to stay together
so
for a
do I.
while. I know other people might disagree with that. I do feel them staying in the states. With um, King Charles and his health, we had all said William will probably he would be in there for a short time, and William would take over. I almost feel like that reconciliation between Harry and his brother happens when William's king. But I think I see that relationship being strained for a while.
I think once William is king, I think you're right. I do see Prince Harry and the brother reconciling, maybe not to the degree that we'd like. It'll still
Hmm.
be the air will still be thick, but at least there'll be some reconciliation there. I mean, and I wrote here burying the family axe. So in other words, I
Yeah.
think, obviously Harry knew that his father,
Mhm.
and it must have been very serious indeed, something extremely serious for him to go there. So I see the axe being buried, but I still think there will be some sort of, I don't want to say discontent, but some
It's
static
going to be.
in William, but I see it getting better.
I agree. I do see them getting close again, but it's going to take a little while. Um, but I do feel like Harry's going to stay in the States for a while. I do see him going back to the UK at some point. Um, but it's hard, I think, with Meghan and the royal family. I think she really kind of wants that distance, and he's very much um, on the same page as his wife.
Um, I agree. But I'm not saying a divorce there either.
No, I'm not either. If they do it, it will be a while out, but I don't see it anytime soon. Thank you so much, Robert, for the super sticker.
Oh,
Appreciate that.
hi, Robert.
All right. How about we do the special counsel for Biden documents case said Biden will not be prosecuted, but he made personal comments saying that Biden is old, didn't have a good memory recall. Will this hurt Biden?
Well, number one, he shouldn't have made that comment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing in election year. The last time that Biden ran against Trump, it was all the tabloids. Biden is senile. Biden is this. Biden is that. Biden forgot more than Trump ever knew. Okay.
Right.
And, I saw somewhere in the news today that Biden slipped up and said he talked to somebody that's already dead. Okay, so maybe it was a slip of the tongue. But look at Trump. He can't even get the candidate's name right.
And he
He
still thinks he's running against Obama.
exactly. Hello. But nobody says anything about it when Donald does it, right? But let Biden do it, everybody's up in arms.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to hurt Biden at all.
No. But I
And
do see the Republicans trying to say, well, if Biden can have documents, why can't Trump? Even though it's not the same situation. Biden noticed he had the documents and turned it right over and then had a thorough search done to make sure that he didn't have anything else. And I felt that it was aides when he was the VP that were a bit careless with the packing of stuff,
it was,
rather than
and he found
rather than him being secretive about it.
right.
Trump, they asked for the documents. He ignored them, would not give them the documents for almost 2 years, with and them keeping on, threatening that we need the documents back. So it's not even comparable.
And then Trump lied about it. And then he didn't turn over all the documents because there's missing
Mhm.
documents. So it's apples and oranges. And if the Republicans, they'll try to politicize it, of course, but what's
Mhm.
going to happen is that a lot of Democrats are going to start speaking up, and a lot of prosecutors, and say the same thing essentially that you've just said. So
Yeah. Well, they'll try to turn it into
a witch hunt.
Hillary Clinton's in her emails again is what they're
Yeah,
doing.
but I don't see it. Yeah, exactly.
I don't see it materializing like the emails for Hillary, but they're gonna try. And
It's gonna bite them in the butt if they do that. But just
mhm,
shows their hypocrisy.
yeah. All right. But and I do think that special counsel, just like the was it the one that was investigating his son? I do feel like they were definitely on the Republican side. So
Of course. Oh, I'm sure. That
mhm,
investigator, I'm sure it was. For him to say that Biden is, almost saying like he's feeble or forgetful. No, that
mhm,
that needs to be stricken.
yeah. This is a good question. Getting it right wants to know, do you see a cure or treatment coming in for long COVID? Millions are truly suffering with this. Any idea what the cure will be? It's really interesting because even I would say I don't have long-term effects, but from my first time getting COVID when it first happened, I definitely have a lot of brain fog, and it's like my ADD has been a little bit overactive than what it was before that.
Mine too. Um, well, I think first of all, before they can find a cure for it, they have to figure out the mechanics of it. and how is causing that long-term inflammatory response. I don't understand that yet. I do see an effective treatment coming for it, yes, but
Do you
not.
feel like it's like a shot? Because I'm almost feeling like it's like some kind of shot for it,
I
or
see an
maybe a
effective,
vaccine or something.
I see an effective treatment coming for it,
Mm,
for long-term COVID. But once you've had it, you get an immunity built up. But I wouldn't call it a cure. I would call
okay,
it a treatment.
yeah, something to help with it. And
Right.
it might take another couple of years. I feel like maybe 2, 3 years.
Right.
Mm. All right. Thanks for the question, getting it right. All right. This was we just covered this. Well, we kind of talked about it, but Sweetie Darling Lulu's feeling a bit concerned for Biden's health. He's been a little bit more confused lately, or he's tired. I get it. It's a bit of exhaustion, to be honest with you. He's got the hardest job in the world. I mean, he is 80 years old. Um,
You know what? He's not senile.
no, I don't feel that either.
Well, it's the same stuff coming up. I don't think he's confused.
Hmm.
I just think, the man, think about how busy he is as president. Then he's campaigning, then he's doing
Hmm.
all of this stuff. So I think he's just tired,
Yeah,
Um, that's what I see.
a bit burnout.
Lisa Foster said they were just attacking him on TV, accusing him of not remembering when his son Bo died. That's horrible. Of course he
Mm,
remembers when his son died.
yeah,
And then B.A. Haven says Trump's running against Obama. I love it.
right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, he has to be tired. Absolutely, Dempsey. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot running the country, and then starting the campaign up again and getting all that messaging. I couldn't do it. I'm a lot younger than he is, so
Somebody says a special counsel is a Republican operative. I don't know.
yeah, I do think so too.
I do too.
And we kind of talked about this. I don't see that it will. Republicans will talk about it, but I don't. It doesn't feel like it turns into Hillary's emails again. It doesn't feel like
Here's the deal. We're just now in February. We got March,
Mhm.
April, May, June, July, August, September, October. There is 8 months between now and the election.
Yeah,
Today's news right now is tomorrow's, is forgotten tomorrow. Um, by that time, they're going to find something else. They're not going. This will be old news.
hmm, yeah.
That's what I think about the documents.
Well, and like we said, it's you can't even compare it to what Trump did. Um, I don't think that the Trump document case will be done before the election, but I feel like he's getting a lot more scrutiny because
That's
they
right.
have the charges now, but I do feel like additional charges and more information coming up before the election about some of our adversaries having those documents.
Missy Bond says at Trump's press conference today, he said that Nancy Pelosi invited the January 6th riot. He blames everybody. It's like, it's so ridiculous. It just is insanity.
Right. I agree. This is good because I've been seeing stuff on Midas Touch about Eileen Loose Cannon, as Mel would say, being
Well
removed.
done, Kevin.
And I've always felt that I feel a man taking over her place, but I do think that it's getting to the point where Jack Smith has been kind of writing down all of her biases towards Trump and how it's not the most ethical. He's writing a list and really going to present a lot of proof that something's not adding up here and she's not doing her job effectively. And I see her being removed as a result. I don't know when. It doesn't feel like it feels like it might be in the springtime to me, like
Also
April.
going to have proof that she was coerced by some of Trump's team, and
Hmm.
maybe, and by Trump directly or through a second or third party. So, the witnesses, if she releases those names, I don't know, but I see that stopped.
Yeah.
I think that meeting that they had with her, they let her know the what force. Remember when Jack Smith had that
Uh-huh.
that that
Well,
meeting?
and I think the Midas Touch thing that I was just reading is that she was saying even though it's classified documents, she wants to make it a public case, and you can't do that with all of this top clearance information.
Just, if they took that to the Supreme Court would never allow it.
Yeah.
She's engaging in overreach. Remember that time she did all that overreach and those judges smacked her down?
It's going to happen again.
Her down.
And I think it will get to a point too with Jack Smith going in there that he's going to request to have a new judge oversee the case.
That's what I see too. The change of venue.
Mm-hmm.
What's the word when she's off the bench? She'll be dejudged.
It's is it barred?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know the term.
Dejudged. I don't know. I see Sharon Sype in the house, and she's moderating. Sharon does a great job. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you to all the moderators. We really appreciate.
Oh yeah, thanks to all the moderators.
Sharon Sype is awesome. We appreciate
all of them.
Sharon. Benched. She'll be benched. Thank you, Becky. All right.
Benched. I love it. She'll be benched.
It's been a while since I've read on this, but Sonoma Natural says a group of Republican senators went to Russia on July 4th, 2018. Did any of them accept Russian money for themselves or the Republican Party? Absolutely.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. I think that that's part of this dark money, because I did feel, I've read on this several times, it's been a while, but I feel some of them getting in trouble for it.
I think they were talking to Putin about strategy for the election, and I think he might have pledged money through backdoor channels.
That might be it, but they received money one way or another.
Well, that's my point. It was through, I mean, he didn't put it directly in their hands,
right,
but it was clearly through backdoor channels. Absolutely.
They didn't go home with briefcases full of cash.
Yeah, but they got promises for pledges. Let me put it to you that way.
Absolutely.
Entertainment purposes only.
All right. Pure Light says, what do you see for how the Texas border situation may resolve?
I don't see much being done. Like you said, Kevin, maybe a little bit, but even if Biden gave the MAGAs everything they wanted, or everything Trump wanted, Trump would say no. It's funny. I'm going to start deporting, mass deportations. Doesn't that sound like Hitler? Doesn't that sound like what he said in 2016? I'm going to build a great wall. It's going to be the bluest wall. Where's the wall? There's a piece of the wall. I'm going to come up with the best healthcare package, in 2 weeks. We're still waiting on that one. So
I'll never forget when he went to Puerto Rico and was throwing paper towels at people.
I know. It was like, well, he's throwing paper towels.
Separating kids from their parents and putting them in cages. It's disgusting.
So I don't think, I agree with what Kevin said. There will be some things that get through.
I see some tension there at the border. It doesn't feel like it turns into like physical fighting. But it feels like it's a bit ugly.
I agree with that. But at some point, I do see legislation passed after the election. But I don't think, that's once. Now, if the Dems get control of the House between now and the election, then something will clearly be done. Absolutely.
Yeah. What do you feel like Biden's going to work with the Mexican president and getting some kind of arrangement for like security on Mexico's side and then increased security on our side?
The answer to that is yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Biden has a plan. He'll get something done before the election.
He will.
But it's clear, the Republicans want something to talk about. And I do see Biden and Democrats really messaging. I mean, this was a bipartisan deal. We compromised a lot. We wouldn't have went this far to get something done. Republicans don't want to do anything because they want to use it. They don't care about the border. They just want to talk about it for the election.
That's exactly right. And that's going to come out a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. Democrats are going to come out full steam ahead. It feels like this summer, I really feel that momentum, that messaging, that campaigning, and getting people excited. It feels big for Democrats in the summer.
Here's one. Can I bring this one up?
Of course.
Sweetie darling Lulu says, I'm sorry. Does Biden need a vacation? I don't think he's going to go on a vacation. I think he's working too hard.
Yeah, he's got too much to do.
Oh, Trump was on one big vacation when he was president. He was always at Mar-a-Lago.
He was always golfing.
Exactly.
Yeah. But then wanted to complain that Obama was always golfing, and I think Trump went like
Trump,
three amounts of
that one.
time that Obama did.
Exactly.
Thank you, Becky. She wants to know, do you see National Drama Day? Do you see a National Drama Day to give us all a break so we can breathe?
It's a great idea. You know what, Becky? You got to write to your congressperson and write to, the senator, whoever, and bring that up because I think it's a great idea.
Well, we've been saying it, and I've been telling everybody for a while. I got a strong message from my guides for 2024. It's going to be a roller coaster. We're going to have to make sure that we take time to kind of collect ourselves, distract ourselves from anything bringing us down energetically, the news, and making sure that we're really staying ground and focused and really speaking truth, speaking our truth, and really standing in our power, because it's going to be all over the place. We have to stay strong.
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right.
She says, will Taylor Swift sponsor of Rock the Vote concert this summer to get as many young people registered as possible? Absolutely.
Totally. All she told everybody was go vote. And the Republicans and the MAGAs were like, all she said was go vote.
I think they see her as a clear threat.
Well, I want to tell you something. That just put fuel on her fire. Now she's revved. And you don't mess with Mickey Mouse and you don't mess with Taylor Swift.
I love that. Taylor Swift, I think, is going to be really instrumental in Tennessee, too. I don't know if it's going to be close, but I feel a lot of momentum behind Gloria Johnson for that Senate seat. I think it's going to be really close, but I feel like she could get it, the Democrat.
Okay.
A lot of new young voters. She's going to get them registered and get them excited to vote, along with others.
I agree, and I'll tell you who else is going to be strong on the campaign trails: Barack Obama. I can see Elizabeth Warren. A lot of them, absolutely, a lot of stars.
I don't do the best with sport questions, but Jenny wants to know: can we see who's going to win the Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs or the 49ers? This is for entertainment purposes only. Don't use our information to
bet. No.
I feel like it might be the Chiefs.
Sorry,
Linda G, if you're watching. I feel like it's the Chiefs.
Well, I agree with you. But if Linda Grindel's watching, I know she likes the 49ers.
I know, that's why I said that.
Right. But I think the Chiefs as well.
Yeah, out of the two, the Chiefs are definitely resonating stronger. We'll see. Like I said, I've been wrong on Super Bowl predictions before. I don't really follow. I don't really care. So one way or the other.
I think just like the last game, this one's going to be a nail biter as well. So
yeah,
that much I know.
It always is, though, isn't it?
Right.
My sister says she had a vision the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl.
Oh, well, here again.
I don't think Linda's watching, but Becky says Linda will get you too.
Linda will be calling me. What do you mean? No, she won't. I'll say, Kevin, pay me to do it.
Right. All right, let me see. A lot of these are repeaters. BA Haven, do you see MTG or Gates being removed anytime soon?
It's going to take a while, but I see Matt Gaetz gone. And that investigation about him and the improprieties he committed is going to come back to the surface. But I see MTG being investigated for the insurrection.
Me too.
So she's
I feel like Gates is out before MTG.
That's what I pick up as well.
I think MTG might win re-election in the fall, but then it's like next year she has to be out because of her involvement in the January 6th. Maybe that's when trials start. But I definitely see MTG in some trouble. I see her being gone at some point because of the investigations.
So do I. I mean, I've always seen her in deep water. I also see her being arrested by the fashion police, but that's another story. Okay.
Do you see the GOP split into two parties this year? It's going to start. I do feel like there's a group of Republicans and the MAGAs really going at it before the election, and it's part of this implosion. But I think if you're actually counting it fracturing and splitting in two, I think it comes after the election.
Well, you've always said it's going to implode. You
Mhm.
know, I thought, I still think there's some moderate Republicans who don't like Trump and who are just not necessarily going to toe the party line. But for right now, they kind of feel like they have to because it's an election year. What I do see at some point is an end to this political tribalism, you
Yeah.
know. And I keep seeing a third party coming up, maybe a workers' party that's going to be really progressive, that's going to gain a lot of momentum. It's going to be after this election. And
Mm.
so I see a third political party coming in that'll really be strong. And I can see at some point a candidate in that party winning high level government positions. So, and I
You
think
almost
we'll see that I think we're going to see it within the next 3 or 4 years.
you almost feel like this third party, because I agree with you. I feel like something new is coming, and I feel like younger people get excited about it. But it feels like it's maybe financially a bit more conservative, but socially more progressive, and like really like interested in like green technology and fighting the climate change. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of like a mix of both parties in some aspects.
Well, I think when you say financially conservative, I don't think it's the Republican definition of the word.
I agree.
They complain about how much Obama spent and how much the Democrats spend, but they let Trump spend more money than any president in
Mm.
American history and waste it. So I think when you're talking about financial conservatism with this party I see coming, how about this one? I see that they're going to focus on balancing the budget.
Yeah, exactly. Getting
Like
the debt down.
right, like when Clinton left office, we didn't have a deficit. Uh,
Yeah.
and then after Bush, we were indebted. So I think they'll focus on balancing a budget. So
Mm.
they're not going to cut social programs, but they'll cut other morbidly obese programs
Yeah. It's
that
like this new technology that's growing, and like I said, I see them being really big on the green technology and
right,
maybe outsourcing and selling that to other countries as a way to kinda get the debt paid down.
right. And I see, I do see that they'll get a balanced budget, so that's good.
Yeah.
Um,
Cooper the dog, thank you.
Aw, hi,
I have
Cooper.
a Cooper. I
Aw,
have a Cooper myself, who's my dog, Cooper.
aw, what a sweetie. Aw, that was nice.
I don't know if Biden ends up shutting down the border, but I see him getting hard and aggressive with it. I don't think it's a total shutdown, though.
My light bulb went on that one. Actually, my guides told me when this bill didn't pass, or well, it was dead. Johnson, whatever, he wouldn't bring it to the House. That Biden could sign some kind of executive order
Mhm.
to do something about the border thing, and the Republicans wouldn't like it, but but I do see he's thinking about doing something like that, maybe not shutting it down completely, but shutting it down in certain places.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, he's working on something by executive order. That's what
I
my
agree.
guides show me. And
I
maybe
agree.
that's what you're saying when something is done. And then the
Yeah.
Republicans, the MAGAs are going to get mad because, well, he didn't go through us. Well, he didn't have to. He could use executive order.
Yeah, absolutely. And to me, it feels like it's working with Mexico to kind of help on their end of it too.
Right. Exactly.
Thank, thank you, Becky. That's a novel idea, a balanced budget.
It's like a balanced checkbook. And if we overdrew our checking account, we'd go to jail.
This is a good question. Melissa wants to know why did Tucker with an F, Carlson, go to the Kremlin?
so he could promote his conspiracy theories, and his new network or whatever he's doing is sagging. And I've read that people might think that this might bring his career back, and he's going to come back and promote a bunch of conspiracy BS. But you know
Hmm.
what? He'll get some momentum out of it, but it's really going to bite him in the butt.
I think so too.
That's what I
Yeah,
see.
I mean, and we know all the conspiracy theories and Russian propaganda and certain people and news networks, um, going right along with it too. So there's definitely connections there, and I don't think Putin would be interviewed by just any journalist, if you want to call him that. There's
There's some
somebody he ties to already.
there's some people wanting to know if there will be a younger president somewhere. Somebody said between 32. Okay, you have to be 35 to be president, not
Hmm.
38. You have to be 35. At some point, I do see a younger progressive president. Probably, I think Kennedy was the youngest, but somebody maybe 38, 39-ish, 40-ish that I can see in the Oval Office.
Hmm.
And we'll see that in our lifetime. So good.
Yeah, this is a good question. Lisa Foster wants to know: will the Republicans succeed in changing retirement age to 70?
Um, they'll try, but I think in order to do that, they're going to have to muster enough votes, and they're not going to get the votes they need.
Well, right, and I don't. They wouldn't have the votes right now anyway because it would have to go from the House to the Senate. I do think at some point though that the retirement age might go up to 70, but it's not right now.
I don't
I
see it right away.
No, it's a while. But also too, I think with a lot of the healthcare technology coming through in the next decade, people are going to be healthier and living longer too. So um, at some point, I do see it going up a little bit, but not right now.
Um, well, geez, I wonder, but how about when some of them are 65? They'll want to retire. We'll see
Yeah,
how that
exactly.
works out, right?
Right, exactly. All
That's a
right.
good question, Lisa.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Um,
Ian said, it's all over the internet that 45 called it an insurrection 3 times today after the Colorado case by saying that he just admitted it was. What a clown. He's 45's biggest enemy. Yeah, continue to let 45 talk because he just buries himself deeper and deeper every time he opens his mouth.
well, there was a thing I read on a blurb. I was looking at breaking news before we came on. I didn't get my,
Hmm.
but that one of Trump's lawyers said it was a riot. It wasn't an insurrection. But now Trump's saying it's an insurrection.
Hmm.
Boy, he just puts his foot in deeper and deeper. Um,
This is funny. We're not going to answer it, but I wonder if Tim Scott will lose his virginity.
who'd want him?
Right. Well, it's interesting, and it's what I've been saying for a while, though Trump hasn't declared his VP. But I said when Tim Scott was running for president, I had a really weird gut feeling about him, and I didn't feel like he would be popular enough to be voted in himself. But I saw an article that somebody asked Trump who he would pick as his VP, and he name checked the two people that I've been thinking that he might. We'll see if he ends up picking them. One of them being Tim Scott, who is now engaged, who's at all of Trump's rallies and campaign stops. Not all of them, but a lot of them, and really just right behind him. And also that Kristi Noem, the South Dakota governor. And those are the two that I've been feeling like maybe he picks. We'll see.
I think if Tim Scott's engaged, he's doing it um, just to do
Publicity.
it
Yeah,
publicly because he's sucking up to Trump because he
exactly.
wants to be the vice president. So we'll see how that plays out.
Well, and both of them too, not to say that they're not crazy and out there. They support Trump and his ideas, but they're not going to take attention away from Trump. The thing is women are really pissed off about Roe v. Wade being overturned. So let's put
Absolutely.
a female as VP. Or there's talk about black men switching to Republicans. So let's put a black man in as the VP. That's the reason why he's thinking it.
That won't work.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
they'll try it, but it's not going to work.
Mhm.
Most of the time, elections are focusing on economic issues like international policy issues, things like that. Typically, social issues are on the back burner during elections, but this one's going to be different
Yeah,
because that whole Roe v. Wade thing, that's going to have a lot of women hopping mad, and they're not going to vote for Trump. I can tell you that.
absolutely.
Um,
And so people are asking, I don't want to get too much in it, but asking if Tim Scott is in the closet. And I do kind of get some kind of vibes like that, but I'm not gonna out somebody.
you know what? I don't care who he sleeps with.
Mhm.
I really don't care. I just care about, is he competent enough to do the job? And I'm absolutely not.
Right, absolutely. Dwight says, do you see the aid package is separated from the border package? I do see, and I think that they did vote on it to get an aid bill started or drafted. I don't think it's been voted through in the Senate, but I do feel like them getting some kind of aid package. It's going to be a bit of an issue with Johnson, but like I said, I don't think Johnson's going to be in there for very much longer. We have a budget coming up again where they have to get the government funded in, I think, a month.
Right.
I see more issues with that because I've always felt like Kevin McCarthy's fate of being outed would be his fate because he could not control that his caucus.
My light bulb just went on. I think it's the budget that's going to bring about his undo, because they're going to vote to get him out. How much you want to bet?
I have a question for you, Mel. I'm doing a bit of a road trip in middle of April, right after the eclipse. But I'm going to Gettysburg, DC, and New York City for a few days. Do you think it's going to be interesting in DC the middle of April when I'm there?
Oh, it's going to be very interesting.
I feel like there's going to be some stuff going on. I hope that the government's not shut down so I can do tours and stuff. But
I don't think it's going to be shut down when you're there. I see you doing your tours.
okay.
But I think what's going to happen is the MAGAs, they're not going to want Johnson to do something with the budget, and he's going to have to, because if they shut the government down, that's not good. And I still think that some of them are going to vote to oust him too. You'll see.
Yep,
I think that's what it'll be.
I agree.
So
Thank you, Jude. Appreciate that.
thank you, Jude.
Yeah,
Okay.
Rob just said the March 8th is the next budget. Yep.
Right. Oh, can I put this up? This is a good one. I was talking about Trump's wall. This is a great comment.
Trump's wall is as good as
Toilet paper
in a rainstorm.
Isn't that good?
That is funny.
We've got some great comments tonight. I'm paying attention, but I'm going through to try to star some of them.
They say, Kevin, you're welcome here in DC. You will love Gettysburg. I've been to Gettysburg. I've done ghost hunting there, and I'm going to be staying in a haunted B&B in Gettysburg. So I'm looking forward to that. I've never been to DC, so I'm really excited to be in DC for the first time. And I've been in New York. I lived there for a year in Manhattan.
I would give yourself enough time, because the Smithsonian Institute is amazing. There's different buildings, but make sure you go into the National Archives. That's really cool because they've got the Declaration of Independence in there.
Yeah.
And the Lincoln Memorial, Washington Monument, all of that. But I would clearly go into pick out the Smithsonian, the part of the Smithsonian that deals with aeronautics. I love airplanes and rockets and things. It's really cool. You got to go see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. If you all want, if you're in the DC area or you have ideas for me, write them in the comments after we're done and give me some ideas for DC. We're going to be there for about a day and a half, so it's not. We'll make another trip down there at another point, but we definitely want to go down to the mall. And we're trying to get a tour of the White House and the Capitol building. I don't know. I think it's pushing a little close for the White House, though.
You can't go in the White House anymore. Years ago you could, but now, what's the street it's on? What's the street the White House is on? Washington.
Yeah,
What is it?
yeah, I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Anyway, you can't. You can see the back, the south lawn. You can see the front, but there's like Secret Service, and there's actually military.
I contacted my representative, and they're going to try to get us a tour for the White House. I think it's by appointment only. You can't just
You
go
have to
there
get
and
a
walk
special
through.
permission, and you have to do the security clearance. Years ago, when I was a kid, we went, and anybody
Mhm,
could go in. It was really cool. Now they have a mock-up of the downstairs of the White House. It's somewhere else,
mhm.
but just like they used to let people come in, you have to have special permission. So I don't know how they do that, but
Yeah, I don't know. Rob says that the White House tours are on. I thought so, but I don't know. I know that it books up very far in advance, so I don't know if we'll be able to get in there. But
it's probably about 2 or 3 years in advance, I would think.
yeah, I'm excited to see the Capitol building, though. That
The
will look
Capitol
great.
building's really neat.
Mhm. All right. Enough about our travels, although it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll talk about it when that happens. Rob wants to know, he says the owners of the Washington Capitals and Wizards wants to DC to Virginia, move them from DC to Virginia. The taxpayers, excuse me, will need to fork over $2 billion. Do you see the teams moving to Virginia?
The only Washington Capitals and Wizards wants to move from DC to Virginia. The taxpayers. I don't see the taxpayers forking over that.
Yeah, I'm almost feeling no. I'm not really familiar on that, but if they go to Virginia, I don't feel like it's anytime real soon.
Uh, I don't see the. I do not see the taxpayers forking over $2 billion. I don't
Yeah,
see it. So I guess that answers the question, right?
right. All right.
Um,
Do you see sanctions on Tucker for going to Russia?
Absolutely. Oh, European Union sanctions on him?
Mhm,
Absolutely. In fact, a lot of countries in the European Union, if he wants to broadcast that interview, they're not
mhm.
going to let it happen. They won't let it happen
Okay.
because Putin is going to try to throw in some propaganda and the whole thing about Ukraine and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of the countries in NATO or the EU will not air that show.
Yeah.
And he'll be banned from airing shows in a lot of countries in the EU.
Good. Do you see Trump getting going to get help with his lawsuit money due to foreign help?
He's got to
I
be
thought
careful.
yes.
I'll tell you why. Because if all of a sudden he starts getting this influx of money and he's crying broke, they're going to say, where did you get it?
Mhm,
And then that could be, he'd have to use that for income. So he's got to be really, really careful with that because he's crying broke. So I think what'll happen is they're going to put liens on his estates. Yes. So that these people will get their money. Then he might try to get money from foreign governments and stuff like that for something over here to replenish his accounts,
mhm.
but not to pay this, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I do feel like Trump has been exchanging, like I said, I felt like documents, other
Oh, of
information,
course.
getting money from
Absolutely.
foreign, and I do feel like there might be some help for his legal fees. But I agree with you. He's got to be careful, because I feel like I think it's going to be found out that he does that. And
Becky, go ahead.
I was just going to say, um, the the um, the House and Senate in Florida were trying to pass a bill that taxpayers would send money for Trump's legal bills, and I think DeSantis vetoed the bill, and I don't see money from the taxpayers in Florida going to Trump.
Oh, I don't either. That's illegal, by the way.
Hmm.
Oh, that's totally illegal, I would think. Becky Gilberto says that 35,000 people registered because of Taylor Swift. Well,
Yeah,
Becky, thank you, but I got a funny feeling it's going to end up being close to over 3 or 400,000 people registering to vote because of Taylor Swift. So,
yeah, I agree with you. It's a lot. Like I said, it feels like a big campaign this summer, really getting people out and energized. Lisa wants to know: are people who died in the Titanic reincarnated?
I think some of them are. I think some of them have finished their incarnations.
Mm. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if you can label it as a whole group or definitely have reincarnated. I do feel like probably a good majority of them have, though.
So do I.
All right. Well, thank you, Gloria.
Hey,
Appreciate
hi,
that.
Gloria. I've got one here. Can I put it up,
Yeah,
Kevin?
of course. The vote to replace Santos is coming in. What do you see? Will Democrats gain a seat? I just read what this was Susan Lynn. I did feel like it going to the Democrats, but Susan Lynn didn't have a good feeling about the Democrat. You know how the Republicans buy candidates and they switch parties.
See,
I don't know if I feel that with him, but something sketchy is going on in that race.
I see that seat going to a Democrat. I could be wrong because
I agree.
because then that's just like 1 or 2 margin they have. So, and then I see some other people maybe leaving the House. So maybe that's why you're seeing that, Johnson is out, Jeffries is in.
Mm.
Michael Moore, he's a filmmaker. He said that he thought that the Democrats would take back over the House before the election, and he said that McCarthy would be out. So he's been right. Let's see what happens.
Right. No, I agree with you. I feel like that seat's going blue, but Susan Lynn had a funny feeling about that Democrat, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Do you see Josh Hawley losing his seat?
The answer to that is yes, I do.
I agree. My guide showed me that we would lose a seat in West Virginia with Manchin, although he really isn't a Democrat anyway. I did feel like that was going to flip red, but my guides were showing me between 2 to 4 pickups in the Senate in red states that would go blue, and Democrats keeping the other seats with like Montana here in Ohio, um, those staying blue. But I feel like Josh Hawley's seat will be one of them, um, and I feel like Ted Cruz could be another.
Yeah,
Maybe where the other two come in is Marsha Blackburn in Tennessee and that Florida Scott. Is it Rick Scott in Florida? Those
right.
are the four that I feel like will be competitive for
Um,
Democrats.
it's just like this last election. Everybody thought it would be this here again, this red tsunami, and it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't even a pink trickle. And so, in a lot of places that traditionally were Republican, Democrats won.
Yeah.
Local and on the state level, and that's a bellwether. That is a prediction, in my opinion, of what's going to happen in the national elections coming up.
Yeah.
That the Democrats will take over a lot of and win seats that traditionally had been Republican. So that's what my guides are telling me will happen. So
Do you feel like
I see.
do you
Well,
feel like some of those states though, Mel? I think it's because they have abortion on the ballot in 2024, so it's like women in those states are really coming out and voting for
absolutely,
Democrats
and minorities.
and minorities. Yeah.
So the answer is yes, but I still think that there's going to be a blue wave with the coming election in November. So,
Yeah. I agree with you, Mel.
and
Cooper the dog.
a lot of the unions are gonna endorse Biden.
They're already starting to.
Right.
Cooper the dog. Do either of you see abolishing the lobbyists? They are the LG core of problems.
I don't see lobbyists ever abolished, but what I do see is legislation being passed so that they can't buy off politicians,
Mm-hmm.
and that they can't give special favors to politicians. The same as I see the same thing, laws being passed to limit the Supreme Court, that they can't take
Mm-hmm.
these big trips and gifts from lobbyists who want things passed. So. Um, there'll be lobbyists, but I see legislation that's going to really, really, really clip their wings a lot. That's what I see.
Yeah. I do feel though, I agree with you. I feel like, but even too, like kind of getting into that where like big businesses are buying campaigns and all those big donations for campaigns. I do feel like at some point, what is it, Citizens United?
Yeah,
Um, I kind of see that coming back into place. And if big companies do give donations to campaigns, um, it's public and there's a limit. It's like a small cap. Like they can't just give millions and millions to campaigns. So I do see that there is some shifting so that some of these politicians aren't bought and paid for.
I agree. Did we put this one up? Cooper the dog gave you a sticker. I don't know if we put that up.
I did,
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
but we appreciate it.
Yep.
Mary Lou wants to know, will McCarthy's seat in California be filled by a Democrat or Republican?
I see blue.
Oh, do you? Because I saw red, so I hope you're right.
Well, maybe you're right, but I'll pray for blue. How's that?
I'll pray for blue too. I think he's in a pretty solidly red district, if I'm remembering correctly. But,
Yeah, but I think a lot of people in that district had it with him anyway.
oh, I agree. Yeah, he doesn't feel like he's well liked. I don't know. I was still kind of feeling red out of the two, but
Okay.
like I said, I hope you're right, Mel.
Well, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and if you're right, and vice versa, and
And vice versa, right?
make a case.
All right. Yeah, Johnson couldn't count the votes on Mayorkas's impeachment yesterday. I do think they'll try it again, but it's not going to go anywhere.
It's not going to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Schill says, I like this. We all need to stop playing defense for Biden. He's phenomenal. They do it because Trump is petrified. This is a result of an orchestrated attack by, who. Give him credit. Let's play offense. I agree. Rather than worry about, his mental pauses or whatever with Biden, let's start giving him, about, look how Trump, I was the best. And no matter what I've done, it's the best. It's going to be the best this, even when he screws up. So I think, I like that, Pat. We can change that energy and start saying, okay, look what he has accomplished.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to rewire it,
And I see that actually really happening with the messaging, like I said, in the summer, especially this year. It feels like them really talking about all that Biden has done that he doesn't get credit for. Like I said, it feels like they're really kind of energizing him.
Exactly.
So, and some of those Democrats are starting to get a bit fiery with those Republicans and not just ignoring them.
I know. I love it.
Yeah, and that's going to continue too.
All right. We have time for one or two more?
Yeah. Do you have a question pulled up? I'm just going through the chat.
No, I didn't. I keep starring.
Yes. Please hit the thumbs up. Please go over to Mel's channel and subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel. I did just hit 11,000. So on my next week Tarot Tuesday show, I will be announcing how to enter my giveaway for a free reading and a free Reiki session. We'll probably do the drawing then the following Tuesday, but you do have to be subscribed to that. So any help with that is greatly appreciated.
I'm over 21,000 now. So.
Oh, nice. So that's awesome, Mel.
When I get to 22,000, I'll give away 3 free half-hour readings. I've already given them away for 21,000, but every 1,000 I go, you get. And my members, I'm going to start giving discounted sessions and things like that. So you have to be a member, though. That means not a subscriber, but a member to get the discounted session.
Yeah, you have a membership program. I have a membership program as well.
Yeah, I'm going to start working on my membership program. Anyway. So let's see here.
Do you feel what do your guys say about Fani Willis being investigated by officials in Georgia? What will be the outcome?
There's really nothing to go on. She's got the right to go out with that guy. What they should do is investigate how Trump got to his wife to get her to come forward, because the lead prosecutor's wife was having an affair.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to come out that there was some underhanded stuff, how they got to his ex-wife. And
I agree. But it's all about delaying things. I don't see Fani Willis being taken off that case.
I don't know.
Like I said, like you said too, like it's all about trying to delay things and make her look bad and trying to stop that case. I don't see them being successful with it.
Well, they've tried other ways before to try to get the legislation changed and then try to get her off the case, and it didn't work. I mean, she's got the right to go out with whomever she pleases.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see what one thing has to do with the other, but at some point, what they might do is appoint another lead prosecutor. That, yeah, but I mean, just because she's dating him doesn't mean that they're in collusion against Trump.
Yeah, there's nothing illegal with that.
Correct.
I mean, maybe it's not the most proper thing, but like I said, it feels like it just kind of delays things.
Well, I think they brought it out. They're going to do anything they can do to say, "Oh, you know, she's conspiring against me, Trump. She's conspiring against me. It's a witch hunt. You know, look, it's her boyfriend. She's telling him to do this." That's crap.
Right.
I wish I could get Trump's imitation. I got to work on it.
We love your McConnell.
Oh, well, yeah. They call me Turtle. I don't know why. Okay. What time for maybe one more, Kevin?
Let's do one more.
All right.
Well, this isn't really a question, but I agree with Debsy. We kind of talked about it, but she says, I think Jack Smith has an appeal for the 11th Circuit Court ready to take her down. Absolutely.
And on that happy note, I agree.
Yeah.
Good.
We'll end on this one. Will Ginny Thomas ever be in trouble for her emails urging Mark Meadows to help Trump?
Yes, absolutely.
She's got some trouble coming up, and it feels like it's sooner rather than later with the January 6th stuff. I'm telling you.
We've been saying that all along. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, Mel. Well, it's always fun. I always look forward to our Thursday night together.
I love doing Thursday nights. I really, really look forward to it. And I'm glad that our momentum is picking up. So, yay.
Absolutely. All right. So if anybody needs to get a hold of you, Mel, how do they do that?
They can go to my website, www.meldoerr.com. And they can email me there or call my office at 847-590-5411. Again, 847-590-5411. Everybody out there, I urge you to get a reading with Kevin. He's an amazing psychic. And, you know, have him do some Reiki work too.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, how do they get a hold of you?
You can send me an email at kevinlovingvibrations@gmail.com. I have both of our contacts in the description box. And yeah, kind of going into the roller coaster ride. If you feel like you need a bit of balance or grounding or just peace of mind through it all, if you have the means and it resonates with you, the Reiki does help with bringing in that balance. Or reading, you know, that can always kind of bring in that guidance and clarity too. So
it's like a holistic Valium. How's that?
Yeah. All right, everyone. I'll be on your channel next Thursday, Mel.
Thursday.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you all then. Take care, everyone.